So let's see. So we did have a double distribution day today. If you guys zoom out a little bit. Let's just go on 65 minutes. 30 is fine here. If you guys increase it a little bit, you guys will be able to tell. You guys able to see it in that double distribution right here? So here's your single tail, right? This is your single prints, and then you have single print separating the two, right? So when you have a double distribution trend day or a bearish day, you can treat them separately. This is one acceptance area, right? This is where they're happy trading. And at one point, they were also happy trading here, and they were really aggressive, meaning there was other time frame buyers kept stepping in here today and trading from here. And when you guys look here, this is our gap, and it's pretty massive. I didn't think it was this bad, but it's pretty bad. Right, so the gap, what I have is about 50 points. Is that what everybody else has? So this right here, yeah, about 53 points gap. That's pretty massive. So when you guys think about it, we jumped over the, the 2-week balance that we had. We jumped over that. If you guys remember, I talked about it a little bit briefly and asked you guys a question. You guys remember this balance here from the 2 days, right? So this was our 2-day balance. Then we had that sell-off, and we had that massive tail here on the selling side. Well, guess what happened to that? We gapped over it. I really thought that they would hold and build some value here, but they don't need to build value. They just gap over it, and then they continued, right? So now on a double trend day, you really can't let go of the levels that I identified here. On the double distribution here, this is the single print separating the double distribution. So we want to make sure once they enter this, bulls have to hold 50.90 here. They really have to hold that, right? And they have, a little bit of freedom to drop to 87, but they cannot go below 87. If we do go below 87, what does that mean? See if you guys are following so far.
We're entering the second distribution level of the double distribution.
That's correct. So that means that we're going to be looking for prices to be accepted here. And then, of course, let's say if you're short from the top 87, you really don't want to be, adding any shorts around the single prints here where the access low is. Meaning this is where they showed up. These are your single prints. And if you see, there's only one TPO. And today something rare happened. I don't know if you guys noticed, but look at your A period. Do you guys see this? Your initial balance was set by what? A and B, but your A has the high and the low. You guys remember what's that called?
Pioneer.
Pioneer, yeah, good job. That's called Pioneer range. That's a really, really unusual thing to see. So you guys might want to save this one as like a virginity of a Pioneer range that you guys never seen before. So this is a big deal, right? So this level here that you see 76, I will make sure you guys have it. I'm pretty sure that they're going to try, come back here at some point, and this will be a decent range to watch, right? And then you have the POC, which I mark now with the green area here, so I don't have to mark them with text. So this is Friday POC. And you see here, I mean, if you look at the value area high, right, it's, it's pretty up there, right? So you're talking about 96 all the way to 60, so about 36 points on just one value area. That's pretty excessive, right? It's pretty large. Okay. Let me show you guys the weeklies for a moment. Yeah, so if you guys look at this, right, make sure to give you all piece information here. When you look at this, right, we're in an all-time high breakout. Eventually, right, when they do come back to the 66, this level here is going to be super important. It's going to be important because the previous breakouts tend to be retested, but if they do it soon, I just covered something. This buying tail that we had, the access low, is your indication that they're looking to go higher. NQ is a little bit weaker than ES because NQ is not at the level, I guess, but we'll check on similar to ES. I don't think they broke all-time highs, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll check here in a few seconds. So let me delete this.
NQ did not break all-time highs.
Yeah, I didn't think they did. So now if you look at this, right, if this was our previous, right, 2-week range here, and I can even draw an FVP for you guys to see it. We'll add this day. If this is the high of that range, and if we just had this breakout, the volume didn't really, I would say this volume here is not really a spike anywhere, right? Besides this candle here, right? And that's probably where the volume, where we cracked. We didn't really have a spike. So now if they come back here and they fail, if we fail at 66, that is a fairly big deal, I would say. That's a major deal here. You want to keep an eye on this, especially tomorrow, right? If by some chance they auction lower here, I really believe that they're going to go higher, right? And I think we hit one of the fibs already today. I think they hit the 127. Yeah, there it goes. They hit the 127 at 101. So now they have the next one is a 5150. So let's see what happens. If they give you a retest this is a pretty good long at 66. A lot of other traders will be watching that, and naturally the access low is going to be protected. So you want to be aware of it and you want to go along with that. For overnight, let me go here.
If it hits like 590, we should expect a bounce there.
590? Yeah, 590 should be a bounce, correct. I'm not used to that. 590. I'm like, what? I'm like, it's too far out. Yeah, 5,090. If it does hit, you would expect to see some buyers right here. They would step in, and they did something similar on NQ today towards the end of the day. It was like 23 or something that we had on NQ. They defended it, went 33. I don't know where it ended up, but yeah, they're doing a decent job now. So now if you look at SVP here, right, you have two nodes, right? You have a major node here, the POC, and then you have this node here, and we kind of, I guess, closed outside of that, right? Right here. And then they brought it back inside, and now we're here. If we do potentially, let's say, spend more time inside this value area and below this node here, that's actually setting up to pull us back all the way here to the POC, right? And now when you look, you have PD POC, you have access buying tail, you have a previous all-time high. I'm not sure how much more conviction you need to consider this to be a decent zone for a long opportunity. Does that make sense? If this is the only trade they give us tomorrow, that would be pretty good. If they bring it back here, this is going to be solid. And it's the same that they did today on NQ. If you guys remember the 30, I was waiting for 30. They hit 35.5 or a quarter. I mean, they ran almost 180 points from there. So you don't get a lot of opportunities in trend days, especially when there's no retracements. So when you think about it here, it's pretty, steep run here. There's no pullbacks here, guys. Throughout the day, there's no pullbacks. The only pullback they had was right here. They gave it, and I mean, they didn't really do much since then. So now you got to see tomorrow, where do we open, right? If we open below this value area high, then you know that there's a little bit of weakness. And if that's the case, then we could expect them to hit this POC. If we don't bounce here, then we're expecting to see pretty much all the way down, right? I would say all the way to the value area low, and maybe trap some people with the gap and then bounce at the value area low. I don't think we'll get that tomorrow, but let's see what the day brings, right? I'm just pointing it out that it's a doable thing if we do crack this POC, but there's going to be a lot of interest here on this POC. Ton of interest here on this POC. So I would definitely watch this. Okay.
So
But
as
I
long
think,
as we break 87, we take a short to the POC,
yeah, I
but
would
we
take
don't
87.
short, but we only go long above 90 and we ignore 90 to 87.
I would, yeah, once it's cleared, I don't care for it, but if we take a short below 87, you have TPO at 76. You want to be, trimming a little bit here. If you have two contracts, you can trim one here, and then, you're coming up to this range here, and then you can keep this a runner here, but be cautious, right? If you see delta or footprints indicating the bids coming in, you want to make sure you're closing that, right? If we don't see any buyers here coming up around this level, then there's a high chance that they might execute all the way to the bottom here. And this would be the range I'll be watching right here. But below 87, high chance you can catch probably, 76, probably about maybe 15 points plus. And even now, when you look at this, right, overnight, you see the tails, there's absorption. Now you're above value area high for the day. So there's a high chance that they have a pullback here now, all the way, what is this, 296. When you're above the value area high, you're expecting responsible activity to come in. And if they don't, let's say they don't crack here, let's say you put a stop loss somewhere here, a point and a quarter, then 1.75, but you can catch 5 points. It's not a bad trade. Just really tight, but it is after hours. Okay. Any questions on ES? We have to hold this upper distribution on it. Otherwise it becomes a little, but we haven't really shifted much when you guys look at, on a weekly profile. Here's your weekly profile. The POC is all the way on the bottom, right? There's a massive gap. So usually when you have short cover rallies like we did here, everybody was short here. Everybody anticipated NVIDIA, whether it's FMOC or whatnot, but they expected a dump, right? And that never happened. And therefore this is kind of what you get. It's a little bit of short cover rally, a little bit of frenzy from, buying because of NVIDIA, and then you combine those things, and this is the result. You get this rocket that we've had just now.
And Shorty, in general, these short cover rallies, what's kind of the duration when they retrace?
So the only way to know when it's coming to an end, there's no really duration that you track, right? But there's a way to manage to see when it slows down. So you want to see, for instance, right, you see this, you had a balance and now you had this double distribution. If the next day, let's say tomorrow, we don't frame up right here, meaning we don't break the previous day high, right here, let's say we don't crack this, that is a good sign that they found balance and the covering rally is slowing down, that there's not much interest higher. There's not many shorts left, so there's nothing to cover. Usually when there's no shorts left in the market, that's when the market pulls back, because the market never collapsed when everybody's short, right? So their goal is to make sure you're out of the position, out of the shorts, and not prepared for it. And I would say they've done a pretty good job here. I would say a lot of shorts were killed here, right? And now they started covering. So if tomorrow, let's say we open within this area here and we don't continue, right? There's a high chance that then we might crack this level and proceed to go lower. You want to watch for imbalance to balance on daily, and that's a good sign that the short cover rally found, buyers and sellers in a two-sided activity. Because if you have two-sided activity, that means they're agreeing on price for now, that they're not agreeing higher, they're not agreeing lower, that's the value. Because if you have short cover rally, if it's massive, it should just continue, pushing higher. Shouldn't be any balance after it. You have to watch for the daily profiles to see when it comes to an end. It's hard to manage just based on, it's 5 days long, and there's no such thing. Okay. All right, let's take a look at NQ real quick. Thought I had some more markings on NQ. Let me see if it's in this chart. Nope, that's fine. We'll go on this one. So here's NQ here. Let me change it. I'm on monthly here. And this value area has not expanded much. It's kind of crazy, but let's see. Hold on, we are at a new time high on NQ.
No, the all-time high is 18,121.
Oh, I see it. It's right here. Man, but this, when you guys look at this value area here, this is a really nasty value area. So here's a question for you, and just think before you speak. If this is our value area on the monthly here, and let's say we lose this, does this have a higher chance of completing an 80% rule or this one? Like, which one would you expect to make an 80% rule quicker?
Well, I
Give me
think
two
the
reasons.
last one, since it's more narrow.
Bobble.
Okay, give me one more reason why.
POC
You
is
have-
very
POC. Yeah, the
Yeah.
POC is at the top.
Okay, give me one more reason. If you go
Yeah,
above,
balance.
well, say it again.
I was
I was saying it's not in balance. Sorry.
Yeah, but think about if it's a narrow value area, who's trading there? Is it other time frame heavy participation, or is it mostly short time traders?
Short term.
Other time frame, long term.
Long
Is
time
that
frame
secret
is
demand?
long time frame is always sitting in large value areas. The larger the width of the value area, the more participation you have, and usually there's time frame people that are expanding the area. When you have a tight area, that means the other time frame people are not in. So if this breakout does not hold, but then other people notice that, maybe other participation enters, when they enter the market, you know it. All right. And you guys have seen that multiple times. They've entered it here. I think it was very close to value area on the monthly, or no, it was a weekly. Something here happened as well. So this was January, I believe, value area, but I had another level that was closer on NQ. And they bounced, right? I mean, even here, that's pretty close, 64. They came here and they bounced, and they basically stepped in, and you see the tail, they pushed it all the way up. So there was other time frame that entered below the value. If other time frame entered below the value, and then you have this candle here, the bean just said is the all-time high. What did these people do when we went above this value?
They closed there for
They brought the price back inside the value, right? So
I've got a question with this. In this situation, because we have a smaller range of the entire month, if long-term sellers are selling off, as soon as you go above the value high, wouldn't the long-term sellers be in there selling? Wouldn't those two yellow lines back to back potentially show a dump? They wait for it to come back up, dump again?
That's what we were waiting for now.
If the long-term sellers, did you expect a dump in that situation? If the long-term
That's-
sellers are dumping,
That's what I'm implying. That's what we're waiting for now. Are they gonna, if they break this all-time high here,
yeah,
then,
they're not
you know,
dumping anymore. Yeah.
they're no longer there. Now, if they crack this level, let's say 935, or if we see maybe on 30 minutes that they're, you know, start reversing, right? The character, if they start changing, right? Because I mean, there's not much character here. But let's say they lose this level here. You know, that would be almost like consolidation and a dump. Then it's showing you that there's weakness, and that would be below the February dev value area high. So once they lose this 935, this speed that the way they drop is gonna be just as quick as they went up in 1 day, I guess. Because if you draw the volume profile here, there's not much. So the tighter the area on the value area, the more likely is to be traversed an 80% rule. Okay. And you want to watch, see what they do here. If they crack tonight, overnight, and they lose this RTH, then there's a big deal, right? Somebody stepping in and selling from there. And that's what we're looking for. We are above value. When you're above value, responsive activity happens. Considering we're a few days from the month-end close, let's see where they close. Do they close imbalanced above the value? Or do these sellers push it back in like they did last time and they went all the way to the bottom, reclaim, and then 1 day rip higher? So we're now watching to see if they're going to have initiation continue or response fall back inside. So all the answers you guys gave is correct, but you have to think about, you have to know who enters the market now. If we crack this, that's big boys entering. And they did it today a few times where, you know, they would have a massive green candle and then a spike down, and it would be aggressive delta, aggressive selling. It's almost like as if they're kind of bringing it up just so they can sell it. And they did that quite a few times today.
So we had a similar situation with single prints for NQ also. That same kind of double distribution, it looks like.
Yeah, but this is now setting up to be 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's 788 up there at the top of that peak, the second peak down.
788.
Yeah, the second line you have from top to bottom. Yeah, right there.
935.
935. Okay. Oh yeah.
It's an interesting 4-hour candle here. Do you guys see it repeating anywhere else? You guys see a similar candle, gravestone doji anywhere else?
Previous
Well,
time.
right before we had a spike up before
The
the
all-time high.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now watch what they do tomorrow. Can they execute identical setup where they break this high, break all-time high, and then fail and look like this? Definitely.
Yeah.
So when you're above value, your goal is not to buy longs. Does everybody understand? It's fairly simple concept. If something is priced above value, what it's worth, you have no reason to buy that asset. Just like people buying cars in 2020, I had friends buying, you know, Toyota Highlanders for $80,000. And
Too
now they're like,
expensive.
well, now they're like, man, I should have listened, because now when if I were to trade it in, they're offering me 32. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to be upside down for a long time. You're never going to get out of it. And what do you think the dealer is going to say? Let me eat that upside? No, what they do, if you trade it in, they take that up, you know, negative value that you have, and they add it onto your new car. So you're basically
10 years.
now, instead of the car you're buying for 50 is going to be the plus value that you lost of 32. And now you do not buy assets that are overvalued ever. And you don't buy stocks that are above the value. You buy stocks that are below or at value, just like here. When we dipped below the, the 4-week SIG1, they came in with a nice tail and they bought it back up. And yeah, this is a very bad gap. I mean, this gap here is massive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's huge.
I don't think I have seen a gap this big in a while. Maybe I did, but maybe I just don't recall it. But it's just a pretty wide area.
Yeah, we had a few in November.
Was it? I mean, this is how many? 150 points. I'm sorry, I lied.
Yep, I thought you lied.
315 points. I don't know if I've ever
Yeah,
seen it.
yeah, yeah.
This is fucking big, man. And all because of one stock. That just baffles me.
Well,
I'm right
It's a
there
free-
with you, man.
It's a free market, and we have the ability to run up the market. I mean, you're talking about from first SIG, and you guys know from SIG1 to SIG, from SIG to SIG, it should take a little bit more time. 700 points.
shit.
4% in a day. I mean, what the hell is this? Is this a stock market or are we talking about something else?
Looks like they're in a hurry to dump the stocks. This is a classic sign of, somebody's in hurry.
Well, it's a classic sign of somebody's in a hurry, but this reminds me of 2007, 8. If you guys were trading back then, don't be shocked to see more CNBC releasing all-time highs, mention the points gained, get the euphoria, get the people going. And most people have no idea, right? They see the TV, they don't know that there was a gap of 300 points on TV. They don't say we gapped up, it wasn't real trading, 300 points. And then they say, oh, the market was up 350 points. And all people here is like, oh my God, bull market, let me go, whether they have a broker or not, they're like, let me go make some calls and buy some stuff. And I actually closed all of I had almost like 22% in ES in my Roth. I closed all of it. I'm completely out. I don't have anything right now that's following the market.
Yeah, I
That
think I
does
saw
say a
some of
lot.
that rip up last night.
Say it again.
I think I caught, or not really playing. I saw it when it was ripping real bad, like overnight. I think that's what extended trading hours when they did it overnight.
Yeah, I caught some of ES, but I wish I would have held it. I would have gotten probably about 10 grand on that contract.
Yeah, there were some crazy candles overnight last night. See,
So
Cuban, my sound works. What's up? He says my sound don't work. Sorry.
no, you actually sound clear. We have a poor high on NQ.
I can't believe we're at all-time highs.
I wasn't shocked. As soon as they cleared at 95, I told Bean, most likely we're going all-time highs.
Yeah, but I haven't been trading there as long as you, and you think like, how we were talking about, all these influencers online was hyping it up. Oh, we were getting breakouts. Oh, breakouts. Remember? I kind of think some of that might even help pushing it up. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's, like today when I missed the NQ trade, I stepped away because I knew if I was to sit there and watch that I would look for entries that don't exist. So for me, it was easier to walk away and not be part of it than, I saw them make a massive run from there and I'm like, damn it, few points separated me from that, but that's trading. I'm not going to get every trade that I want. And if that's the case, then better to step away because I don't want to be driving that. And then eventually, if it ever happens, right, then we get a nasty candle and I'm, even say stop loss is not good or something happens, all of a sudden internet goes down and your trade's not registered, man, I'll blow up my, large account over nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
Hope you
say
didn't
you're
misunderstand me because I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I think I come off wrong, but anyways, or
no,
confusing.
it's not you. No. I get what you're saying. Oh, everybody's a bull. That's the euphoria that's coming in. But it's this right now is the same setup as ES. If I was to take a screenshot of ES here, there's your double distribution. If you guys have the axis high, axis low on the bottom, sitting right with the value area low, so this would be a really good long level if they give it to us.
The difference is the POC's on top instead of the bottom.
Where's the POC?
Volume profile.
Top.
Volume profile. Yeah.
Yeah.
Volume probably here.
It's way up there.
Yeah, it's but on ES it's the other way around.
Yeah. So what do you guys think that tells you when you think about that?
Anything can happen.
So this looks like a clear double distribution to me on profile, volume profile, and this. If this one is, we spent the most time here, but we spent most of the time volume up top. What does that tell you? They accumulated here. What did they do here?
Sold.
Selling.
They're selling. So they're not too far from this level. And earlier when I left, I mentioned the 815 level to you guys to watch for a bounce. And I think they dipped all the way to like 11 or something like that. And then they ripped to 50. And now they're stuck here. So if they crack below this, let's say POC or this value area high here, might not be a swing short all the way to 92, honestly. They're very close there.
We're below the which POC?
This POC that they're building on.
Yeah.
Like
If
you see,
crack-
Oh, the one
Yeah.
right now. Yeah. Okay.
If they crack 11, you mean, Shorty?
Like 39, you mean?
I would say 39.40. There's this little volume node. If they crack that,
Yeah.
then you catch this
Oh,
30.
yeah.
But I
The
would think
TPO
that
value high is at 37. So that
you can
goes.
target this level here for overnight. So I would the way I would trade it, I would take a trade here of 39. Let's say put 48 or somewhere around there, and then you can move that and you target 18. So your trade would look like $244, but I would adjust this risk a little bit as we start going. Because then you have this peak here and that will defend it, right? So you could do something like this. That would be a pretty decent trade. And you can manage the exit. But I would definitely look out for something like this for tonight, overnight. But this is, it definitely is a short cover rally, at least it looks to me. You shouldn't have spent, when you think about it, you shouldn't have spent so much time here if you knew you wanted to run. When you have trend days, those are already pre-made, right? At 6 p.m., they already have the orders ready. So when you have these guys that come in and spend a lot of time, and the close here that happened showed weakness, right? We showed below the POC on a double distribution day. If this was a P shape, I would say, right? That's a good setup as long as they hold this value, the high volume node here, but it's not, right? And maybe on RTH it is. We'll see. Yeah, it still looks like a double distribution. I'm trying to give them a case where they can run it, but there's no case. If they can't reclaim that high volume node, they're in trouble, right? So I would definitely watch that, right? And then above the POC, if they're able to clear this POC, I would say, high chance they're going to fix this 121.
We have the single prints on the TPOs here also, but from a volume profile, it seems like it should be wider than what the single prints are. I don't know how you see that.
Hold on. What are you talking about? Single prints where?
I had right there. You've got them right there.
Yep. 10 points.
But
They
in
had
my
a lot
volume,
today, but they fixed some today.
but when I look at volume profile, it doesn't. It looks like it's a little bit different in
Let's see.
comparison those areas.
Well, yeah, it's very close. I would say there's, you see it here. It
Oh, I see. You're
starts.
thinking backwards. Okay. Yeah.
It's close.
I mean, would
This is
you
the
would you
middle
think we
spot.
bounce then at this? I mean, would you go long at that 1800 level?
I would prefer to get a fill in the middle somewhere here. Split the difference, or if they lose this, let's
Then
say they
short.
did,
Yeah.
and then if they do this, right, lose, get people excited
Mm.
on the short side, because this would be the value area high retest too, right? So if they do that, that would mean that they're accepting prices higher. That means this here was validated if they do this.
If they do that, we probably wouldn't have a retest, right?
You will
Of
not
the
get,
top of that, it'll
No.
just go.
they're
Yeah.
just gonna fly.
Yeah.
If they
Okay.
come here, they're just gonna take off. They're gonna hit this all-time highs. Or whatever that was, 121. But let's see what they do, right? I'll be live on tomorrow and we'll see overnight. I'm gonna monitor this for a little bit, maybe for another hour or so from bed, and see if I see any weakness here if they lose this level. And place a short overnight and then a long as well on the bottom. But they're holding this POC here.
Yeah, sometimes, Shorty, I've seen around 11 EST, one party enters and rocks the market.
That's our
9:30
Asian friends.
Yeah. I always notice we either hit high or low at it's 12 for me, so 3 for you, Shorty, which is London session.
London session. So you have Asia
Always
highs
big
and
one.
lows, and then you have
Yeah.
the Euro session that comes in. Asia lately has been hitting harder than Euro. 4 weeks ago, it was Euro hitting at their close, which was 11 a.m. our time. If you go back, they were hitting our stock market, and now it's Asia hitting. In the
For dumping, right?
yeah, OVN sessions. Yeah, they've been doing really good.
Gotcha.
And right now, is the inventory short or long?
Inventory is long because our settle price was at 21.25.
That's correct. Why is my
No. That was closing price. Settle price was not 21 at 415.
Is I look at RTY, I take where it says the close, and my understanding is that settle price.
settle price is right here, 21. This is your end period right here. This is your settle price. Is that what you guys have? And is
Yeah,
the 15 minutes post cash?
I just go to RTY and look what the bottom of the candle, which is always the same as the TPOs.
Yeah, if you do 15
Close
minutes.
price. Close price.
Oh, yes, 21. Yeah, I misread the bar. 21 settle price.
And now if you look at the electronic hours, right? If this was our settle price there. Where did I mark that? I guess I should have marked it. I thought it was 21. Is it 18?
It's 21.25.
Okay. So now we're definitely net long on inventory. So let's see what they do here as they come up. They're above the value area, their net inventory is long. Usually you get a rebalance of inventory when it's really skewed like this. So let's see what happens. This node has to be reclaimed out tomorrow.
The POC?
Yeah. Grab the wrong one.
We got what was an all-time high at 71, which is kind of right on the top of that node also.
think I
So
just
if
marked.
overnight, if we hit 60, that VPOC, would you short?
Which one here? No.
If we go up and we hit the VPOC of that
No,
60.
no. I have no
No?
interest short. No.
All right.
I want them to go above it and fail.
Okay.
On a move like they have, you don't want to
Yeah.
be short too much on the first tap.
Yeah, we'll wake up 100 points negative if you don't use stop loss.
Yeah, I would be careful with that. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that'll be it for me. I'm just gonna see what they do here. It looks like it's coming up to a short level, so I'll monitor it and I'll let you guys if I enter here. But this would be my goal here. Come somewhere close to this value area or settle price. But it doesn't look like they will give anything. So okay. All right, guys. Well, have a good night. See you guys tomorrow.
Thanks, Shorty.
Thanks,
keep me
Shorty.
with them.
Thank you, Shorty.
Have a good one.
Have a good night. Thanks, Rockets.
Good night.
See you, Cuban. You can't hear me because he's got me muted, I bet.
Thanks, Shorty.